I think what the American people should think when seeing that video, along with others before me, is that there is something out there, and we should know as the people what it is.
Bombshell testimony from military officers. They say UFOs are real and they are a threat to national security.
Based off of each of your experiences and observations, do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes.
This is fucking great, man! Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
So we've been working on this story for a long time, and we'll tell you right up front that it's going to be hard to swallow at first.
What's going on up there could be the most important event in history. You're talking about contact, physical contact and proof from another system, another planet, another intelligence. That's got to be the biggest event in history, period.
And it's real.
And it's real and it's there.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still in the program.
Move, children! Vámonos!
And quite frankly, I could make up a better lie, but I have no motivation to lie.
I've always loved the freshness of Tic Tac.
When it crosses right in front of me, it just goes poof and it's gone.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Here's a dot. It's a GPS. It's just outside San Diego. For those of you not from California, we have these random islands out here. I've been to Catalina a couple times. There's not much to do there. You take a boat out there, you get a little seasick. There's another island called San Clemente Island. I think back in the day some Native Americans were there, but yeah, we took it over. It's ours. Down here you have Tijuana. Seen many a donkey show there. Not my finest hour. I jest. Of course, it was my finest hour, and I miss those days sorely. Why is this dot where this dot is? Well, you could call it an unidentified sitting dot. But let me identify it for you. In 2023, I repeat, 2023, it just so happens that we had a warship out there from the US military called the USS Jackson, if you're nasty. Because we have a lot of Navy stuff in San Diego, it's a port, and it's just, I don't know. It's the military-industrial complex, I don't know who we're fighting. It's one of our bases. And in the year of our Lord 2023, which was not long ago, the crew members and the radar techs on our vessel, the USS Jackson, noticed something weird. A flying Tic Tac had emerged from the water. Now, I tried to order a water from a man at a restaurant here. I said, "Can I have 2 waters?" And he said, "What?" And I said, 2 waters? He goes, I'm sorry, come again? I'm in London. I could sense that he didn't understand either word I had said. And so I said, 2 waters. And he thought I was retarded. It literally took 4 back and forths for me to tell him that I wanted agua. If I had said agua, it would have been quicker. A Tic Tac came out of the water. There was a petty officer. He has a long, fancy name. He's an active duty guy named Chief Wiggum.
We're about to start, Chief.
No, you got the wrong number. This is 912.
And very much like a Netflix remake, in real life, we have cast Chief Wiggum as this guy.
My name is Alexandro Wiggins. I'm an active duty U.S. Navy Operations Specialist, Senior Chief Petty Officer. Father of 3 and dedicated American, testifying today in my personal capacity.
It's Chief Wiggins, but, you know, the recasting is getting out of control. So this is an actual guy. He's still in the Navy. He is a father of 3. He has been in the Navy for over 20 years. Credible as all get out. He's not the only one that saw it that day. There's multiple people, and we filmed it. So he goes over and says to the appropriate person in whoever is controlling our tracking system there, they had some fancy-ass thing. This was the latest cutting-edge technology from 2 years ago, where they track this entire device onto this Tic Tac. Turns out there's not one Tic Tac, there's 4 of them. And they're locked up, moving around in unison. They film it for a bunch of time. This has been released. You may or may not have seen it. You're about to. And then all of a sudden, at supersonic speed, without a sonic boom, mind you, they depart almost instantaneously. Multiple people saw this. Chief Wiggins just reported what he saw that day in front of Congress. So while everything else is going on, there's assassinations, there's wars, there's pretendicides, there's what else is happening? I don't know. Our timelines are bursting with distraction. Oh, right. We had the third UFO hearing in front of Congress where we're just openly talking about various UFOs. This one in particular, a little bit interesting and weird because the original Tic Tac incident from 2004 happened right here. So right next to this was the USS Nimitz, who noticed that there were Tic Tacs flying in formation from San Clemente Island down to San Guadalupe Island, bypassing the donkey show. No interest in it whatsoever. And they have no idea what they missed. So there's something happening out there. Okay, forget the Mexican Air Force footage from early in 2004, where they were tracking these things. Forget the Mexican fishermen who you don't trust because you're inherently racist, low-key. Forget all those accounts. I had a guy say to me he took a cruise ship to Ensenada, which I did once, and he saw things floating out on the horizon that he couldn't explain. But slightly less credible, from an anonymous person that told me that on Twitter, we have our top military guys using top military equipment, reporting this to Congress in front of everyone and showing the video of it all. Now this corroborates the Nimitz encounter as if it needed corroboration. It already had it from sonar, from the Hawkeye, from radar, multiple sources of state-of-the-art radar. We had the radar, it was jamming. We have the eyewitness accounts from, dozens of people, not just the 4 pilots who were in a dogfight with this thing. We got Chad Underwood and his pilot who went out and filmed it on a FLIR. And we got people out on the deck with binoculars staring at these things. And they're all describing the same erratic, nonsensical movement that these things are breaking the laws of physics as we know them.
The views I share are my own, and I do not represent the official positions of the Department of the Navy or any subordinate organization.
So without further ado, I want to highlight and showcase the testimony of Officer Wiggins that he just gave in front of Congress describing this event. Watch.
On the evening of February 15th, 2023, at approximately 19:15 PST, in the Whiskey 291 warning area off the coast of Southern California, I was serving on board USS Jackson. During that period, I moved between the Interior Communications Center, ICC-1, and the bridge wing, correlating the sensor picture with visual observations, part of my routine responsibilities for surface and air picture management. What I observed and what our crew recorded was not consistent with conventional aircraft or drones as they appear on our system. A self-luminous, tic-tac-shaped object emerged from the ocean before linking up with 3 other similar objects. The 4 then disappeared simultaneously with a high synchronized near instantaneous acceleration. I observed no sonic boom and no conventional propulsion signatures. No exhaust plume, no control surface articulation on the Sapphire image system. Shortly after the synchronized departure, radar tracks dropped. These observations were multi-sensor and recorded inside of ICC-1 with time location overlay visible in our source frames that have been made public by journalists. From my experience operating in this region over many years, and consistent with our public characterized encounters, unidentified objects reoccur in United States operation areas off Southern California. That fact alone does not tell us what they are, but it does argue the systematic stigma-free reporting and for the preservation of sensor data so analysts can evaluate safe and intelligence implications with rigor. I want to underscore 3 points for the task force and the committee. Aviation and maritime safety. When crews and watchstanders observe objects that maneuver or accelerate in ways that does not match known profiles and do so near our ships and aircraft, that is first and foremost a safety issue. Standardized checklist and training should ensure we capture the best possible sensor data in real time, including IR settings, slant range, estimates and bearing and range altitude snapshots, and immediate chain of custody for any recordings. Reporting without stigma, protection without retribution. Sailor.
Okay, so Chief Wiggins then goes and does what most of these military people do. They don't fully understand what they're witnessing. First of all, they don't know what it is. Second of all, the implications of this, the ramifications of what this could mean or what this represents. He's not commenting on that at all. He's being basically a military nerd. And he's like, by the book, we need to take infrared, we have the slant angle, and we need the protocol, the chain of command. He's literally just being a geek about it and being a hard ass and being like a military-brained guy about it. He goes, it's a safety of, what did he say? It's a safety risk or something like that? Like, yeah, it's a freaking safety risk. This is a piece of technology that is so far beyond our capabilities that it makes our entire military a redundant joke. You might as well not try because of what you just saw. I mean, there are people that would get on their hands and knees and be like, this must be a god. And this guy's like, we could have been singed by the luminous orb, so I would recommend copious amounts of suntan lotion. Like, what? Although he has a lot of melanin, so it's probably not a big... The point is, if the Human Torch just lights up and flies past you, and you report to your supervisor, I think there's a safety risk of being singed by the superhuman flaming torch that just flew by me. Okay, they're not equipped. This is beyond their pay grade. Oh, by the way, here's a former general talking about this guy and this event. Not a general, sorry, a rear admiral, which sounds vaguely homophobic, but whatever. He's a top dog.
He called me, talked to me about that experience. He said we were seeing them all the time. He said,
really?
He said, sir, this is so frequent off SoCal, we're desensitized to it.
What?
Yes, seriously. And so you might have seen Jeremy Corbell had released video from the USS Jackson. Same petty officer who gave it to him. Yeah, because he came to me and he shared me on Signal that video. And I said, and Jeremy, of course, said, I'd love to talk to him. And I asked him, are you okay with that? And he said, sure. So he shared.
Is this guy still active? Or is this guy...
He's still active duty. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but that
he hasn't been outed.
No.
They don't know that he's the one that's...
Well, he did it as a private citizen. I know he talked to the Navy lawyers.
Yeah.
Which are probably a lot looser than the Air Force lawyers. So either way, he got it cleared. And I know. I think that's really significant. I need to have a talk with him about that. But a terrific guy, and he's one of many sailors right now, former or still active duty, that are seeing these things. And that's what I've been trying to do.
What do these guys think they are? Do you talk to them about it? We're like, what do you think about it? What do you guys talk about on the flight deck? Like, what is the...
It's like everybody in the public. It's a range of ideas, and some people really care, but that one crew chief who came to me after he left the Navy, he said this really affected him. Because normally he'd heard talk of it, but he'd never seen it. And when he saw it, he realized, like I did when I saw the video of the Go Fast, when it was still classified, I immediately knew, that's not ours. That's not our adversary tech, because I know adversary tech. I've been read into all that stuff. And we're not alone. There's something, I don't know what they're doing. Don't know their intent, especially with nukes. That's pretty scary, but we're being monitored.
And this is very similar to what Alex Dietrich, the pilot from the 2004 incident, says about speculating as to what these things are. She's like, look, I don't know what they are. It's not my job to guess. It's my job to tell you what I saw. And likewise, what she says she saw was something that was breaking the laws of physics as we know them.
And from there, I saw this strange thing that we affectionately termed the Tic Tac, because it looks like a little breath mint. And when I say little, I mean, from a distance, it's small, but we estimated that it's about the size of our own fuselage. So about 30 to 40 feet long.
So as I understand, and I could be mixing up the details, I understand that this object was off the surface of the water more or less, and then there was a moment where it shot up to about 80,000 feet very quickly. Could you describe that moment?
So not only did it look strange and not have, it wasn't obvious how it was flying, because again, we look for wings and rudders and smoke trails and things that will help us understand which way is it going and how is it doing that, and then how can I get an advantage over it? Is it going to have slow turn rate, how can I get angles to get a shot off if I need to? Not that we had live armament, not that we were off the coast of San Diego in a training mode, but we're always thinking about, can I shoot that down? Can I take that? And in that case, it wasn't clear what it was. And it really wasn't clear how it was maneuvering in the way that it was moving. So it was changing airspeed, it was changing direction, it was changing angles in a way that didn't make sense and didn't adhere to our understanding of physics and gravity and all of the aerodynamics that we study and really live and die by, literally, in our aviation training.
You said this thing was making turns and doing things like that. So, what kind of turns are we talking? Are we talking hard right angle turns?
So if you're turning, if you've ever driven a boat or just turning in your car, you have a turn radius that's required. It takes a while to actually move the vehicle or the vessel around. And it's the same thing in the air. We put a turn in, and then we can pull high G turns to make it a smaller turn radius, but there's a limit to that. And so when we talk about the envelope, we're pushing the envelope. It's literally a graph in our aerodynamics textbooks that you can see where this is the edge. If you turn this amount of G and this amount of angle of attack, and if this is your weight and this is your configuration. And so we're very sensitive to that. And this UFO, unidentified flying object, didn't adhere to any of those rules. So it was really turning what to our naked eye visually looked to be instantaneously. It seemed to be changing airspeed and altitude and direction, without having to go through the normal contortions that we normally have to go through, and the complicated ballet that we practice in our air combat maneuvering, our BFM, our basic fighting maneuvering, our dog fighting, which is, it made us both alarmed and also really impressed in the moment to say, what is that doing? How's it doing it? And I would like to be doing that.
So if you're looking for credibility, if you're looking for multiple reference points describing the same thing, you have come to the right place. When you talk about how do we know what we know, building a case, an abundance of evidence, the case is over. These things are out there. Now, if you want to distract and go down the rabbit hole of are they aliens, it's irrelevant. They could easily be aliens. They could be us from the future. It could be Marty McFly. It doesn't matter. You are witnessing a power supply and a form of movement that would revolutionize humanity. It is staring us in the face. It is right there, right on the horizon. And yet it's not a rainbow. It's not a mythical pot of gold. And to chase this is not equivalent to chasing rainbows. It is real. It is pinging off our radar. It is jamming our radars. And it's deeply uncomfortable. We wish it was China or Russia. No, it ain't. Is it a reverse engineered alien craft? Maybe. Is it going to mind fuck us in terms of our understanding of time and space and parallel dimensions? Maybe. Could be. How could it not be? What it represents is of enormous, enormous importance. And this is a test to humanity collectively. And it's amazing that this is not the lead story every day on every newspaper, headline after headline, is that this is there. This is real. And instead we're worried about, I don't know, look at your timeline. The thing is a joke. It's whatever can capture your interest for a split second. It's like, hey, this girl over here has a big ass. Oh, okay, let me what? Oh, wow.
Mr. Wiggins, I want to talk to you. I find your background and testimony compelling. When you first saw what you were looking at, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, I think everything that I was told and taught as a kid and as growing adult no longer, was applicable. If I'm able to see something that I thought defies gravity in such a way, then what else could be possible? That was my first thought.
So did you think what you were looking at was a weapons program that you were unaware of, or did you think what you were looking at was obviously some extraterrestrial piece of technology?
Neither one of those crossed my mind. It was just...
How about now? What do you think it is now?
I'm not the expert. I think I want to be as skeptical as everyone else and just hope to know the information.
Anyone in the U.S. government tell you what you were looking at to try to dissuade you from what you thought it was?
No.
So no one was like, oh, there was some anomaly with the technology. No one from the government did that?
No one.
And just so you understand how advanced the camera is that we're using when we're tracking this thing, let me just get you up to speed with what the USS Jackson was working with that day.
This incident happened February 2023 in Whiskey 291 Military Training Zone. That's a warning area off the coast of Southern California. And these are the coordinates from the FLIR video. It's east of San Clemente Island. And if you remember, the Nimitz encounter happened south of San Clemente Island. So in the same general area. The USS Jackson seen here is an Independence-class littoral combat ship. So it detected 4 Tic Tac shaped objects. Alex Wiggins, who's in the CIC, saw one allegedly emerge from the Pacific Ocean. Then he joins 3 others in tight formation, and they all vanish instantly. And he said simultaneously, and they just vanish, like shoot off. So no propulsion, no sonic booms. So Alex Wiggins, he's a Navy Combat Information Center operator with 23 years experience. Saw it happen. The ship's advanced radar system is integrated with the Sapphire FLIR system. The FLIR is a thermal targeting tool like my F-16 sniper pod. Basically the same thing that recorded the famous FLIR 1 video. So if you remember from the 2004 Nimitz case, this is the famous FLIR 1 video captured with a FLIR. It's actually a lightning pod, similar, basically exactly the same as the sniper pod that I used. He's in a TV mode here that you'll see up here, TV, but the USS Jackson encounter happens at night. So they don't use TV mode. I guess you could have to see if it was glowing or something. But they use thermal imaging, and we'll see in a second. He goes to IR. It says IR at the top of the screen there. And when he zooms in, you'll see it looks like a Tic Tac. So a 40-foot long container is what David Fravor said it looked like, along with Alex Dietrich. They said that's the visual confirmation, and they also say it zooms off at like a bullet, amazing speeds. And as he zooms in here in a second, you will see it looks very much like a Tic Tac. And we'll see that in the video of USS Jackson. So that's the famous FLIR 1 video captured with a lightning pod in 2004. So now fast forward to 2023, and the USS Jackson Sapphire FLIR does the same thing. It's just on a naval scale, so they have better cooling, right? They don't have to fit it into a little aircraft. It's going to be using the same military technology, but more advanced, right? We're talking almost 20 years later. So those X's on the FLIR screen, they show the system is tracking real objects. Now, I can't confirm 100% if that is the radar tracking actually, but the system does use sensor fusion, as we'll talk about here in a second. And so I believe that is the system saying, hey, that is a valid target. That's where it is. X is on the screen. I don't just think it is the FLIR pod telling the system, like you see an X is off there. I think that could be the actual radar. So the radar telling, and you see it shows up maybe as the radar spinning. So I'm not 100% certain, but I think that could be the radar tracking it as well. USS Jackson LCS-6 is a high-speed littoral combat ship. It's built for agility and adaptability in coastal waters. But how would it handle the now infamous Tic Tac UFO, a 40-foot long, fast maneuvering object, as reported in the Nimitz encounters? At the heart of the Jackson sensor suite is the TRS 3D radar. It says 4D there, but this is actually the 3D. That's it right there spinning. That's a multi-mode 3D radar that detects both air and surface targets, including low-flying, fast-moving objects, such as missiles. So while it's not an ESA radar like the Spy-1 on the USS Princeton was, the TRS 3D is still powerful, and it scans actively in the vertical, essentially. So it can still track over 400 targets simultaneously. That's more than the Aegis. It detects low radar cross-section objects, and it can operate in cluttered coastal environments like over the sea with waves, etc. And most importantly, it cues other systems like the FLIR for a visual lock-on. And I think that's what happened, is it cued off on those Tic Tacs and told the guys in the CSE, hey, look over here, and cued the FLIR 1 system to it. So a 40-foot Tic Tac sized object that's well within its detection profile, especially if it approached at subsonic or transonic speeds. Doesn't look like it's going that fast. So once the radar gets a hit, the Jackson Star Sapphire electro-optical infrared turret kicks in. So that's a gimbal stabilized thermal imaging system. It's capable of locking onto a heat signature in the daylight or total darkness, as we see probably here at night. You can even see in fog, or at least some amount of fog. So that's the kind of conditions Tic Tac objects are often reported in. It gives you high definition infrared imaging. Also has a laser rangefinder. We didn't see any ranging on this though, unfortunately. I haven't seen in any of the videos any sort of range. It does have daylight cameras, but it's at night, right? So they didn't use the daylight TV mode. Like the first Nimitz engagement, Chad Underwood, was during the day. So he used both TV and IR, and he went to black hot, white hot. He did everything you're supposed to do. So the point is, it's automatic tracking once it's cued. So the Sapphire system can visually lock and track a target like the Tic Tac, assuming it radiates any infrared signature at all, and like we see, it definitely does, and it looks like the Tic Tac. These sensors don't work alone though. They feed into the Combat SS-21 system. So that's Jackson's combat brain. It's a tactical fusion system based on Aegis technology. So the Princeton was basically the first Spy 1 radar out there, and that was Aegis technology. You can see the radar spinning there on the top, and you see the little FLIR there, the Sapphire system right there. So how it works in a Tic Tac scenario, the radar pings the target, the radar slews the FLIR to that location, and then they try and get a visual ID, right, to try and see what it is before they shoot at it.
How do you think you were treated when you reported this information or have talked about, you know, the Tic Tac video is well out there, it's well reported. How were you treated?
I've had no pushback at all. I haven't had anyone reach out to me or try to, you know, dissuade me in either direction, militarily speaking. So I was treated fair, and I appreciate the Navy itself with assisting me with coming here to being able to testify.
That's good. So what do you think the American people should take away from watching your video, right? Because when we watch it, obviously, right, we've never seen anything like that. It defies what we know to be technologically possible. What are we supposed to think? Someone's lying about something. Someone's hiding something, right? That's not normal what you looked at.
I think what the American people should think when seeing that video, along with others before me, is that there is something out there, and we should know as the people what it is.
Right.
That's putting it mildly. Yes, there is something else out there. And by the way, the skeptics, the UFO skeptics like Mick West, they have nothing to say about this. Okay, there's a bunch of debunked BS reports out there. This ain't one of them. And neither was the Nimitz incident in 2004, or the Mexican Air Force, or the Mexican fishermen. That phenomenon and what's happening down there is no explanation for it. It's an ongoing mystery, and it's the greatest mystery of our lifetimes, of probably multiple centuries of human lives. It happens to be under your watch, which is either fortunate, lucky, or scary and frightening. But I mean, they don't seem to pose us any threat, because we don't pose a threat to them because their technology is so advanced that we couldn't do anything to them if we tried.
And so let's eliminate possibilities. So they didn't come to you and say there was a technological error with what you were looking at. So we put that aside, right? They didn't say it was broken. So we look at that and we see something. So it's either a weapons program being reverse engineered by our governments or other governments, or it's nobody's government, and it's not from here. Those are it. You agree with that assessment?
I agree. One or the other.
Chief Wiggins, based on your training and operational experience, could the behavior that you witnessed, a transmedium object vanishing without a sound, be explained by any known technology that we possess or other governments possess?
It cannot. Nope.
And has any government agency debriefed you or any of your shipmates regarding the EOIR and radar confirmed UAP encounter aboard USS Jackson?
No one has, no, ma'am.
What was that encounter like when you brought that up? If you want to briefly summarize that, when you brought that to their attention and then you were not provided any follow-up, who was told and how did you feel when there was no contact back to you?
As far as the actual incident happening,
Yes,
or
sir.
the reporting level?
Yes, Chief.
It was within the event happening. My duties are to report to the tactical action officer on watch while we're standing watch. So tactical action officer was there. I made my report. I've not had any discussion outside of that day. There's been no communication to me or requests from me within inside of the military. But speaking of that actual incident itself, once the report was made to the tactical action officer, that's when I made the decision to ask the individual watchstander that was controlling Sapphire to be able to slew into the location. And that's what you see in the video itself is when the watchstander is slewing in and kind of showing us what we're looking at. But outside of that, that's as far as the reporting went that I know of.
Thank you.
Chief, I was on a ship for a little bit. I was a gunner's mate on the USS Gettysburg for a couple of years. My question to you is, when you had your encounter and you saw it on the screen, you were in the CIC, is that correct?
That's correct. On an LCS ship, the CIC is on the bridge, so it's called ICC-1, but yes, the same.
Did a bunch of the other folks in the CIC come and check out what you were looking at?
Yes, we all did. The tactical action officer, myself, the RCO, and two others that were on watch. We were all in the same space, so we were all looking at the Sapphire screen all at the same time.
Because in the other couple instances with the witnesses, you guys just saw it by yourself. Is that correct? Mr. Borland, you saw it by yourself?
For me, yes, sir.
Mr. Nusatelli, you saw this by yourself?
No, there were multiple witnesses in every case at Vandenberg.
Okay. How long did that encounter take place, Chief?
So the encounter itself, from the time I recognized on my radar to the time after the video ends, was probably about 5 to 7 minutes.
What speed was the object moving at?
When I first witnessed off the port bridge wing the object moving out of the water, what I thought was originally just a light on the water, something on the horizon, and surfacing and going into the air, I then knew it was an air contact. But as an air controller myself, I started thinking and going through kind of like my checklist in my mind. Could it be a helo? But it's not blinking lights. So I then realized this is something I've never seen before. So the speed itself, just going from the horizon to about maybe 3,000-4,000 feet in the air, was very slow, slowly rising. And then it sped up. I'm not an expert at knowing specific speeds of aircraft just by visual eye, but I would say probably 1-2 Mach instantly into the rest of the formation. I didn't notice visually with my own eyes the other 3 objects until I went back to my radar and also utilized Sapphire to see that in fact there were 4 total. And then again, when they all left after a certain amount of time, it was nearly instantaneous.
So you spotted it visually first, Chief, and then went back to your radar, or did you guys spot it on radar first?
Radar first, because that was my watch station.
And then you went out to the port bridge wing, is that correct?
Correct, to verify what I saw on my radar.
What range was it at, Chief, when you were able to see it visibly?
I would say about 7 nautical miles, 7 to 8 nautical miles of a light from the ship.
Wow. Thank you. I yield back.
Chief Wiggins, you said that it emerged from the ocean. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And before it did, it was glowing. It was a glowing object under the water.
That part I couldn't tell because it was nighttime at 1915 approximately, and it was also at a distance. So it's very hard to tell the difference between something on the horizon and something surfacing from the water. My personal thoughts after seeing what I saw is that it did in fact come from the water, but I don't have visual evidence showing exactly, that it did in fact come from the water. But I had to go through my process of elimination and try to figure out, was this a ship on the horizon just showing its lights at night? But to see it surface, then it made me question, okay, where did this come from? If it's flying and it's not a drone or anything like that, where was its origin? Where did it start?
Hey, welcome back, and guess what? There is some brand new UAP video that just dropped, possibly shot from a Navy ship, once again, off the coast of Southern California, which for some reason, has been this very, very weird hotspot.
Okay, time out. This guy looking like a retired child actor, like just a friendly Christian youth minister, or who's the guy that did Blue's Clues? I mean, I don't know what kind of Disney-fied dude this is, but it's ridiculous. Look at the 3 pictures up there, 2004, 2019, 2023. The 2019 thing is an airplane. Okay, quite obviously an airplane. And they're like, no, but it's triangular. Yes, because the aperture of the camera, the night vision camera, has that triangular aperture. And so that is why that effect is taking place. Also, the thing, that quote UFO, is blinking in accordance with the blinking rate of every airplane. In that same video, you're looking at stars that look like triangles because it's the camera, not the object, you idiots. So for them to put that frigging green triangle up there is so discrediting, it's fucking crazy. And meanwhile, right next to it is 2 actual UFOs. So it's 2 UFOs and a green airplane. Way to go, guys. Holy Christ.
For all kinds of unidentified flying objects that don't seem to care that there are all kinds of Navy warships that are out there training. Now, quick refresh about why this area matters so much. 2004, we've all seen this video that was showing what was described by Navy pilots flying off the USS Nimitz as a white Tic Tac that was zooming around in ways and speeds they just could not explain.
Oh, by the way, if you're not familiar with this, I have made several amazing videos, straight up amazing, about the Tic Tac UFO and that incident. And these videos, I recommend you go watch them. They're all sitting up on Rumble. I created an entire channel just dedicated to my video series on the Tic Tac incident. It's hours and hours and hours. These are fantastic videos. Forget my crap about atheism or politics or the bleeps. A waste of time. They're a waste of time because it's not noble. It's a bunch of damage control. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of nothingness. This is not that. This is not a waste of time. This is not nothing. This is actual UFOs, evidence of those UFOs. It's an ongoing, incredible mystery that you should be enraptured by. Is that a word?
In 2019, sailors on the USS Russell, again, off the coast of San Diego, seeing what they described...
Look at it blinking!
In night vision goggles as upside down.
Look, the triangles, there's other triangles, dude.
Pyramids, and then brings us to today. This
fucking hell.
New infrared video just released by documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell showing...
hold on, it's released by Jeremy Corbell. It went through Jeremy Corbell like a human centipede. This is our US military is vouching for this under oath. Okay, so this is our Navy warships footage. It has nothing to do with Jeremy Corbell. He is a middleman and just a grifter. So please don't put his credibility and trust this footage because it's Jeremy Corbell. It's the US military, active duty officers stating that this is what we saw that night.
Jeremy Corbell showing what he says was an incident on the USS Jackson. It's one of these littoral ships, one of the...
Again, it's not Jeremy Corbell saying that. It's the actual Navy saying that. It's the naval officers saying that. This is not a minor point to miss.
The highest tech ships that we have in our arsenal, and according to Corbell, Navy sailors were actively tracking one of 4 unknown objects observed going in and out of the water. No heat plumes, no exhaust, nothing. And here is how one of the witnesses on board the ship described it.
I go out to the bridge wing. I'm noticing things and lights on the horizon, and like city lights or any other ships that are out there. So seeing a light that is lifting up, you can see it. I know the difference between a light on the horizon coming up and a light coming out of the water. When you've been on the water more in your life than you haven't been, you know the difference.
Now let's get into it with Jeremy Corbell, one of the hosts of Weaponize the Podcast.
Wiggins. Sir, I'd have to say that if just the average person here in America looked at absolutely everything that has come across television, the internet, etc., you can't tell yourself that 100% of what's being recorded is fake or false. You have to, at some point, understand that there's something else out there.
So the situation of UFOs in America or in the world right now, it's messy. There's 90-something% of them are completely bogus or explainable. That's true, that's whimsical, it's just human error. And people are gullible and they just are fooled all the time. No one has an explanation for what is happening with the Tic Tac UFOs. Whether it's alien or not, it doesn't matter at all. It is this is like, you ever want to be in an Indiana Jones movie? Where it's like, what's the magical element that we're going for? What's the supernatural thing? Is it the fountain of youth? Is it the goblet of Jesus Christ that we can drink from and live forever? Is it the Ark of the Covenant, which can, make all armies bend the knee before you and melt faces? Is it the Dial of Destiny? Is it, it is flying Tic Tacs that laugh at the physics of our atmosphere, that clearly have some sort of gravitational controlling mechanism, that they can dart through time and space like it's butter. Whoever is the sentient beings operating these things have enormous, mind-blowing power that we can't even contemplate. What it represents for energy creation, travel, time travel, space travel, connecting with other civilizations, connecting with the past and the future. It is, just a wildly fascinating thing to be even contemplating, let alone given all the evidence that we have, that this is absolutely real. So please differentiate from all of the horse shit, all of the Loch Ness monsters and the Bigfoot and the green triangle, which is an airplane, and the balloon, and forget that. And don't let all that muddy the waters, because the Tic Tac UFOs are 100% real. I've been telling you this. I have put my reputation on the line, as if that matters. Look at it for yourself. Look, don't trust anybody. But when the evidence has mounted to the point where it has, it's time that we grapple with this, ladies and gentlemen. And we barely are, because we're not in control and we don't know what the hell is going on. So we're kind of cosmic toddlers just going, wow, what is this? We have no idea. And even if we did, what are we going to do with it? The second we get this technology, we're going to mangle it. It's going to be a shit show. So stay alert. And please understand that this is the story when it comes to human beings and life on Earth. It's this and everything else is a distant second. You have been warned. Stay tuned.
If there is stuff, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You can only hide so long because someone's going to talk. You can't put that back in a box.
There's life somewhere else. It's a big deal. It's an important part of human history that we found that out.
If you had one comment to say, Bob, on this congressional hearing, what would it be?
I told you so. What's going on up there could be the most important event in history. You're talking about contact, physical contact and proof from another system, another planet, another intelligence. That's got to be the biggest event in history, period.
And it's real.
And it's real and it's there.